And this episode is going to be a little bit different, also in terms of the structure, also in terms of various different things. And we're going to talk about a bunch of different things. Maybe there's going to be some questions in the end, but I'm not quite sure about that. With that being said, hello, welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. And I'm really actually happy to record this episode, even though I'm a little bit stressed out since I'm having to do quite a lot of things and it is a little bit stressful at this point in time. And I am a little bit unhappy about that as I'm thinking about it. If I'm actually stressing myself out on my own in terms of the circumstances, actually didn't really stress myself out, but it's rather me, probably. And something to also look out for. If actually you're doing that, something that I'm not really suggesting you to do, of course, it doesn't really make sense, when you're stressing yourself out just because, not because of the circumstances, not because you're having so much to do, but because you somehow try to do too much, maybe. Maybe you try to do too much in a very narrow time frame, and it is not something that's really advisable, and not something also that's really suggestible, and it's in the end doesn't really make too much sense, to really be honest. Something else, just because I've been editing the video just before, and that I'm then gonna actually upload and render and whatnot. I've been listening to Seth Godin on Behind the Brand, which is actually a pretty great channel, mainly because there's a lot of content around Seth Godin, which is something that I'm really looking forward to always when I'm finding it. I think I've actually went through every single interview there is on Seth Godin just because I think that he's such an incredibly interesting person, and his thoughts and his knowledge as well is just really, really, really great to get something of. And he was talking about passion, and I've often been talking about passion as, please work on your passion, please do something that you're passionate about and all those things. And he said, not really. You shouldn't really be doing that because you can find passion in everything. It just depends on how you think about the certain task you're doing. It depends on how you think about the work that you're doing. And I think it definitely makes sense. And he was given an example of a woman, I don't remember the name unfortunately, but she was selling coffee for 7-Eleven, I guess it's called. It's only kind of in America, I guess, but I'm not quite sure about that. And she was selling more coffee for 7-Eleven than any other person on the planet. And he also said, okay, you can say that this is just dumb shit, but it is not, because it was her meaning in life maybe as well. It was just something that she wanted to do in life. It was just something that she just did. And it is also something that you can find passion in. Passion in just helping other people by selling them coffee, by just making the best coffee you can fucking do and being nice to the people, just letting them have a great day or a great start in the day just because they have encountered you, just because they had a talk with you or they just bought their fucking coffee at your place and not just on any other place. I liked it. I really liked that. And I might be changing the whole way I am communicating that, because, which is actually funny enough, is also something that he was talking about. He was also talking about changing your mind. And it is definitely not something bad. And as I'm just thinking about it, it often is told to you that it is something bad, even though I really believe that it is not. What if the mindset that you're having and or just the way that you think about certain things is just really fucked up and just doesn't make any sense? Shouldn't you just kind of change it? Shouldn't you just change it just because you should not change your mind all the fucking time? It wouldn't make too much sense. Of course you should be changing it if it is something that's, hurting you maybe as well, or if it is something that's not making you very happy, then of course please fucking change it, because why not? Should you just stick with it for no fucking reason? And a bunch of other different things. But as I said, just listening to what Seth Godin is talking about is really, really, really interesting. And also in terms of the podcast, it really is. I'm always listening to the podcast when I'm meditating, not because maybe because I think that his voice is just really calm and really great to listen to. And I think it also might be, it might be a big part of the podcast, but I think it's more about the knowledge that he's able to spread. And the funny thing is, if you're having a look at the show notes, there is just a bunch of different things in there. Often there are some Wikipedia articles, and often there are some other articles, for example, from The Guardian and other platforms or sites, websites, and all different kinds of things. And it is really interesting to just see what he's able to get out of these articles and get out of these videos sometimes as well, and all those things. it is really interesting what he's able to compose, what he's able to make out of that. And it is truly great work. It really is. Sometimes there are going to be some mistakes in terms of the sponsorships and all those things. But I guess if everything would be just really completely fine and just, I don't want to say top notch because it is top notch, but I would say that if everything is so clean and if everything is like so really kind of just amazingly well done and there is no slight mistake in any sort of way and whatnot, it's not human anymore. I would also say that it wouldn't even be good if something would be in such a way or if something is done in such a way. Because I don't know if it is actually something that a lot of people would just see or if it is just only something that people like me see, people that are like a little bit more aware, I guess, that are seeing more. It just definitely is also because of my background, my design background. I just need to see things, in terms of not only mistakes, but also in terms of aesthetics. I have to see them, proportions, angles, all those things. Like, just, I think, and it is also something that I've been talking about before in terms of drawing. You don't need to be good at holding a pen so that you're able to draw. Drawing is about looking carefully. Drawing is about just having a look at whatever you're having a look at and being very precise and seeing all the shadows, seeing all the highlights, seeing all the nuances of the whole picture and or of the object. And that's quite it. And of course there is some technique involved, especially if it is about painting. But about drawing, you just have to look and that's quite it. And you do just have to draw what you're seeing. And if you just see really carefully and if you just have a look at whatever you're having a look at really, really, really carefully, then you're just able to, draw every line exactly as it should be drawn. And of course, you shouldn't just be kind of stressing yourself out. You shouldn't be too fast and all those things. Like, you should take your time and draw every line as the line should be drawn, which in the end results in a pretty good thing. On the other hand, something that I have also been talking about through Seth Godin actually, or because of Seth Godin, doing things and or painting things as they are. For example, I'm just having a piece of paper there with a bunch of notes on, and there's also a picture just because it initially was something else, but at this point in time I didn't have anything to write on, so therefore I've decided to take this one. And I could draw it. And I think I could actually draw it in a pretty good way. I had to draw those things in school actually, and the funny thing is, the past few years, I'm in the last grade actually in my school, and the past few years that I've attended this school, it has often been about drawing. At this point in time, it really is not about drawing. I haven't been drawing anything for the last, 5 months or something. Like, it is really interesting to see that, but I think it's also a little bit scary, since if you're drawing something, and if you're drawing actually something every single day, somehow, not really, somehow, or at least every single week for a bunch of hours, and then you're not doing it, it's first of all feels strange, and I kind of fear losing the progress maybe. But I don't know. I think in terms of the techniques, in terms of just being able to just draw lines as straight as I want to just draw them and all those things, which is just evolving a lot of practice and just everything that is about practice. And I guess, just about looking and having a look at things, it's not going to decline, I guess, my ability to do so. I think I'm always going to be able to do that. And it might be also one of the reasons why having a artistic education or having an artistic eye and whatnot is actually also something that's pretty valuable for different kinds of work as well, because I don't know, also having a sense for aesthetics and all those things is something, at least as I'm thinking about it, something that's not too bad and could actually be pretty valuable. It depends on, of course, what you're doing. It depends also of various other different factors. But yeah, mental health is also something that I'm just going through a bunch of things. I hope it's not too random, actually. I hope it's kind of there's no structure in it. And I do not even pretend that there is a structure, because I haven't thought of a structure. But mental health is something that I've been encountering just numerous times especially the past few months, I would say. Last year, it's been something different. I think last year it's been not as much about mental health as it is right now. Like, today I've been going through just an article on cooking and mental health, and it has been about the correlation between cooking and mental health. And it is pretty interesting that there is even a fucking article on fucking cooking around mental health, which is probably something that not a lot of people had been talking about before, that there might be correlation. Well, it depends on who you are, it depends on what you're thinking about and all those things, but it is something that's not really obvious, maybe. Maybe, yeah, on the other hand, just because cooking is something that has been in culture for numerous of years, like forever, basically, actually. It is still pretty interesting that they do just have some studies on something like that, something that's kind of random, kind of not really obvious, kind of not really something that a lot of people might be thinking about. And I still find it really good. I still really find it good that mental health is becoming something that's okay. I know it is okay to have some mental health problems, to just get professional help and all those things. It's just really good to see, because it always pissed me off, and it still pisses me off, that there is such a stigma around mental health problems and around mental health issues, that I don't know, I've always been able to, or I've always been trying to spread the message of, okay, it is fine. If you're having some mental problems, just try to solve them by maybe even getting professional help, because it fucking helps. Because, I don't know, like, there is a reason for why there is professional help for mental health. If nobody would actually need it, there would also be not really a lot of people that would be doing so, and or there wouldn't be a market for something like that. And Hello? 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 And now he's done. But yeah, it's really something interesting to see, and I really also hope that if you're having something like a problem with mental health and whatnot, that you're trying to solve that in a way that's like getting professional help, because it is fine, it is okay to do so, and all those things. So yeah, I think it's actually going to be the end of the episode. It's not a really long one. I still hope that I've been able to spread something that might be interesting to you, even though it might have been actually one of the most selfish, besides the one that I actually recorded yesterday. But it's I don't know, like I kind of feel like really stressed out, to really be honest. I kind of feel like that I am maybe focusing on the wrong things, that I am maybe just trying to do too much in this day, and it isn't really working as I want it to work. And I kind of also feel like that I just should maybe having, like, I'm thinking about it. Should I be having a rest day? Should I be having a day where I'm just not doing something? The problem there is that if I'm not doing something, I'm actually feeling that I need to do something. But it's actually, and I'm very sorry for that, actually, I really fucking am, that it is a really selfish episode. It is just an episode for the sake of an episode. I'm just posting this, and I'm just going to upload this just because I need something to upload. It is not because I also kind of still try to put out something that's going to be valuable for some people, at least. But I don't really know if it is going to be something like that. But I, on the other hand, also know that I shouldn't be really judging my own work, since it's often backfiring into just judging and or not being happy with whatever I'm putting out, even though it can really be something that's pretty cool and pretty good, and something that's enjoyable for other people, even though it's something that, as I'm thinking about it, something that's not that nice. But yeah, I wish you the best health of happiness and also success, and I also hope that you're going to remind yourself how you're going to be remembered, which basically means your legacy. 3 other questions are: why are you here? What are you trying to change? And what is bothering you the most? These 3 questions are hopefully going to show you your purpose and maybe even a business idea, since a lot of companies started out with solving a problem that really pissed them off in the first place, and then it's been a really good business in the end. But yeah, I hope you're doing well. I'll see you soon, and consider subscribing. Would actually be I would really appreciate that. I'll see you.